Okay. Today's reading task, Matilda, Chapter 13, The Weekly Test. At 2 o'clock sharp the class assembled, including Miss Honey, who noted that the jug of water and the glass were in the proper place. Then she took up position standing right at the back. Everyone waited. Suddenly, emerged the gigantic figure of the headmistress in her belted smock and green breeches. "Good afternoon, children," she barked. "Good afternoon, Miss Trunchbull," they chirped. The headmistress stood before the class, legs apart, hands on hips, glaring at the small boys and girls who sat nervously at their desks in front of her. "Not a very pretty sight," she said. Her expression was one of utter distaste. Though she were looking at something a dog had done in the middle of the floor. "What a bunch of nose-eating little warts you are!" Everyone had the sense to stay silent. "It makes me vomit," she went on, "to think that I am going to have to put up with a lot of garbage like you in my school for the next 6 years. I can see that I am going to have to expel as many of you as possible as soon as possible to save myself from going round the bend." She paused and snorted several times. It was a curious noise. You can hear the same sort of thing if you walk through a riding stable when the horses are being fed. "I suppose," she went on, "your mothers and fathers tell you you are wonderful. Well, I'm here to tell you the opposite, and you had better believe me. Stand up, everybody." They all got quickly to their feet. "Now, put your hands out in front of you, and as I walk past, I want you to turn them over so I can see if they are clean on both sides." The Trunchbull began a slow march along the rows of desks, inspecting the hands. All went well until she came to a small boy in the second row. "What's your name?" she barked. "Nigel," the boy said. "Nigel what?" "Nigel Hicks," the boy said. "Nigel Hicks what?" The Trunchbull bellowed. She bellowed so loud she nearly blew the little chap out of the window. "That's it," Nigel said, unless you want my middle name as well." He was a brave little fellow, and one could see that he was trying not to be scared by the Gorgon who towered above him. "I do not want your middle names, you blister," the Gorgon bellowed. "What is my name?" "Miss Trunchbull," Nigel said. "Then use it when you address me." "Now then, let's try it again. What's your name?" "Nigel Hicks, Miss Trunchbull," Nigel said. "That's better," the Trunchbull said. Your hands are filthy, Nigel. "When did you last wash them?" "Well, let me think," Miguel said. "That's rather difficult to remember exactly. It could have been yesterday, or it could have been the day before." The Trunchbull's whole body and face seemed to swell up as though she were being inflated by a bicycle bump. "I knew it!" she bellowed. "I knew it as soon as I saw you, that you were nothing but a piece of filth. What is your father's job? A sewage worker?" "He's a doctor," Miguel said, "and a jolly good one. He says we're all so covered with bugs anyway that a bit of extra dirt never hurts anyone. I'm glad he's not my doctor," the Trunchbull said. "And why, might I ask, is there a baked bean on the front of your shirt?" "We had them for lunch, Miss Trunchbull." "And do you usually put your lunch on the front of your shirt, Nigel? Is that what this famous doctor father of yours has taught you to do?" "Baked beans are hard to eat, Miss Trunchbull. They keep falling off my fork." "You are disgusting," the Trunchbull bellowed. "You are a walking germ factory. I don't wish to see any more of you today. Go and stand in the corner on one leg with your face to the wall." But Miss Trunchbull, don't argue with me, boy, or I'll make you stand on your head. Now do as you are told. Nigel went. Now stay where you are, boy. Will I test you on your spelling to see if you've learned anything at all this past week? And don't turn around when you talk to me. Keep your nasty little face to the wall. Now then, spell right. Which one? Nigel asked. The thing you do with a pen, or the one that means the opposite of wrong? He happened to be an unusual bright child, and his mother had worked hard with him at home on spelling and reading. The one with the pen, you little fool. Nigel spelled it correctly, which surprised the Trunchbull. She thought she had given him a very tricky word, one that he wouldn't yet have learned, and she was peeved that he had succeeded. Then Nigel said, still balancing on one leg and facing the wall, Miss Honey taught us how to spell the new, very long word yesterday. And what word was that? The Trunchbull asked softly. The softer her voice became, the greater the danger. But Nigel wasn't to know this. Difficulty, Nigel said. Everyone in the class can spell difficulty now. What nonsense, the Trunchbull said. You are not supposed to learn long words like that until you are at least 8 or 9. And don't try to tell me everybody in the class can spell that word. You are lying to me, Nigel. Test someone, Nigel said, taking an awful chance. Test anyone you like. The Trunchbull's dangerous, glittering eyes roved around the classroom. You, she said, pointing at a tiny and rather daft little girl called Prudence. Spell difficulty. Amazingly, Prudence spelled it correctly and without a moment's hesitation. The Trunchbull was properly taken aback.
Mrs. D, Mrs.
She
I,
shouted.
Mrs.
She
F,
nodded.
F, Mr. C, Mr. Z,
And I suppose Miss Honey wasted the whole of one lesson teaching you to spell that one single word. Oh no, she didn't, peeped Nigel. Miss Honey taught it to us in 3 minutes, so we'll never forget it. She teaches us a lot of words in 3 minutes. And what exactly is this magic method, Miss Honey? Asked the headmistress. I'll show you, peeped up the brave Nigel again, coming to Miss Honey's rescue. Can I put my other foot down and turn round, please, while I show you? You may do neither, snapped the Trunchbull. Stay as you are and show me just the same. All right, said Nigel, wobbling crazily on his one leg. Miss Honey gives us a little song about each word, and we all sing it together, and we learn to spell it in no time. Would you like to hear the song about difficulty? I should be fascinated, the Trunchbull said in a voice dripping with sarcasm. Here it is, Nigel said. Mr. D, Mr. I, Mr. F, F, I. Mr. C, Mrs. U, Mrs. L, T, Y.
Mrs. D, Mrs. I, Mrs. F, F, I, Mrs. U, Mrs. C, Mrs. U, Mrs. L, T, Y. Daddy,
That spells
I know
difficulty. You're good.
That's why I
How
have to say
perfectly ridiculous, snorted the Trunchbull. Why are all these women married? And anyway, you are not meant to teach poetry when you are teaching spelling. Cut it out in future, Miss Honey. But it does teach them some of the harder words wonderfully well, Miss Honey murmured. Don't argue with me, Miss Honey. The headmistress thundered. Just do as you are told. I shall now test the class on the multiplication tables to see if Miss Honey has taught you anything at all in that direction. The Trunchbull had returned to her place in front of the class, and her diabolical gaze was moving slowly around the rows of tiny pupils. You, she barked, pointing at a small boy called Rupert in the front row. What is 2 sevens? 16, Rupert answered with foolish abandon. The Trunchbull started advancing slow and soft-footed upon Rupert in the manner of a tigress stalking a small deer. Rupert suddenly became aware of the danger signals and quickly tried again. It's 18, he cried. 2 sevens are 18, not 16. You ignorant little slug, the Trunchbull bellowed. You witless weed. You empty-headed hamster, you stupid glob of gloom. She had now stationed herself directly behind Rupert, and suddenly she extended a hand the size of a tennis racket and grabbed all the hair on Rupert's head in her fist. Rupert had a lot of golden-colored hair. His mother thought it was beautiful to behold and took a delight in allowing it to grow extra long. The Trunchbull had a great dislike for long hair on boys as she had for plaits and pigtails on girls, and she was about to show it. She took a firm grip on Rupert's long golden tresses with her giant hand, and then, by raising her muscular right arm, she lifted the helpless boy clean out of his chair and held him aloft. Rupert yelled. He twisted and squirmed and kicked the air and went on yelling like a stuck pig. And Miss Trunchbull bellowed, 2 sevens are 14! 2 sevens are 14! I'm not letting you go till you say it. From the back of the class, Miss Honey cried out, Miss Trunchbull, please let him down. You are hurting him. All his hair might come out.